Level 1, the street kid. You are 12 years old. You wake at 5 a.m. Your mother has already left for the laundry. Your father has been out of work for 14 months. You eat a heel of bread. You leave before your sister wakes. The bookmaker's name is Patsy Doyle. He runs numbers out of a hardware store on 46th Street. He pays you 12 cents a day. He throws in lunch on Fridays. There are 14 addresses on your route. You never write them down. You say them to yourself on the walk home. You say them until they no longer require effort. You learn to read a uniform 3 blocks away. You learn the difference between a cop walking a beat and a cop in a patrol car. You learn which streets the car turns on and at what hour. 2 short whistles through closed teeth mean a foot patrol is within 40 seconds. 1 long whistle means a car is inside 15. You practice until the signal cuts through street noise at 40 feet without raising your chin. You learn to stuff a slip into the band of your newsboy cap without looking down. You practice until it takes under 1 second. There is a cop named Flanagan on 47th and 10th. He takes an envelope from Patsy's man every Tuesday morning between 9 and 9:30. You learn his schedule. You learn every cop's schedule on your route. No one explains what on the take means. You understand it without being told. Your brother Tommy comes home on a Thursday with $40 in his front pocket. Your father earns $11 a week when there is work. Tommy is 17. He doesn't explain the money. You don't ask. A runner named Declan works the block east of yours. You don't like him. In March, he lifts a slip from your route. You don't fight him. You don't report it. You absorb the loss and complete the route without that address. 3 days later, Patsy calls you into the store. He says you stole from him. He knows you didn't. His face gives nothing. You look him in the face. You say you don't know what he's talking about. Your hands are flat on the counter. He watches you for 6 seconds. He says nothing. He goes back behind the counter. You walk out onto 46th Street. A man you have never spoken to is standing on the far side of the street. He watches you come out. He doesn't cross. He doesn't follow. He doesn't need to. Level 2, the corner boy. You are 15 years old. Tommy vouches for you. He doesn't ask the lieutenant first. He tells him you are ready. Tommy's word is now behind yours. You understand what that means for Tommy if you don't hold up. You stand outside the gambling den on 11th Avenue, North Side, 6 nights a week. You are there at 7 p.m. You leave when you are told. You learn 2 signals. 2 short whistles mean a foot patrol is within 40 seconds. 1 long whistle means a car is within 15. You practice with your teeth closed. Sound pushed through the gap. It takes 2 weeks to get it narrow enough. On a Friday night, 40 men walk through that door. Some bet $20 on a hand. Some bet $100. 1 man loses 600s in under an hour. He walks out. His face is flat. You learn to count the men going in. You learn to track the ones who come out with stiff shoulders. You learn the difference between a man who won and a man who owes. You don't go inside. You don't know their names. That is the point. In November, you roll a dock worker near the 10th Avenue overpass with 2 other boys. He is drunk. He doesn't resist. $11. You split it 3 ways. You pocket $3.67. You give your mother $1 and say you found it on the sidewalk. 2 weeks later, a car pulls up. 2 men in plain clothes. They put you against the wall. You give a name that isn't yours. They push harder. You say drunk and disorderly, wrong corner, wrong night. Your hands sweat inside your pockets. You say nothing else. You are in a hold cell for 3 hours and 12 minutes. A man in a grey suit arrives. He pays the $15 fine at the desk without speaking to you. He drives you back to the neighbourhood in silence. You don't speak either. You go back to your corner the next night. In February, 4 boys from the Italian crew on 50th Street walk down 11th Avenue past your post. Slow. Looking. You step off the wall. You plant yourself in the centre of the sidewalk. You say nothing. 3 of them stop. 1 keeps walking. The 3 look at each other. They turn around. Your ribs feel tight from the inside. You don't move until they are past 52nd Street. You tell Tommy that night. He is quiet for a moment. Then he says, good. On a Thursday in April, a merchant on 10th Avenue falls 3 weeks behind on tribute. The total owed is $45. 2 men from the crew come at 11 p.m. You are still at your post. You see what happens next. It takes less than 4 minutes. The merchant's wife leans from the 2nd floor window. She sees it. You see her see it. You don't look away. You keep your eyes open. That is the only correct answer. The following week, the lieutenant sends word. He wants to see you. Level 3, the apprentice. You are 18 years old. Tommy brings you to the back room of Donnelly's bar on a Tuesday night. There is a table. 7 men. No introduction is made. You sit. You listen. That is the first thing you are supposed to understand. The lieutenant's name is Callahan. He is 38 years old. He has run this crew for 9 years. He looks at you for a long time before he speaks. He slides something across the table wrapped in a rag. You open it. A .38 special revolver. The serial number has been filed down to the frame. He tells you a street name. He tells you a building number. He says the word message. He says nothing else. You drive to the address that evening. The man is a tailor named Brzezinski on 9th Avenue. He has been paying a Genovese-connected crew 6 blocks east instead of paying Callahan's crew. The difference is $120 over 4 weeks. You knock. He opens the door. You say what you were told to say. He starts explaining. You take his right hand. You fold back 2 fingers. The second knuckle snaps. You feel it through your palm. He goes down. You close the door behind you. You drive back. You park on 48th Street and sit in the car for 6 minutes. Your hands are not shaking. That is the detail you file away. Callahan walks you through the territory on a Thursday afternoon. You learn the western boundary at 12th Avenue. You learn the eastern cutoff at 8th, where the Genovese line begins and why it holds. You learn what it costs a man to cross that line without a phone call first. You learn it the way you learn the slip addresses at 12. It goes in without effort. There is no paper version. You never cross east of 8th without Callahan's word. That is not a rule he repeats. You drive Callahan to a meeting in Queens on a Friday. You don't know who he meets. You sit in the car for 2 hours and 20 minutes. You watch the block. You don't move. He comes back smelling of cigarettes. He doesn't speak. You drive him to 47th and 10th. You go home. You hear nothing. You know everything. In September, you are sent to collect from a man named Corrigan on 51st Street. 6 weeks behind. $90. He is also the husband of the woman in the apartment below yours. You knocked on their door last Christmas. Her daughter brought soda bread to your mother. You go on a Monday morning. You do what you are there to do. Corrigan is on the floor when you leave. He will not be working for 3 weeks. On Sunday, you pass Mrs. Corrigan in the stairwell. She is carrying 2 bags of groceries. You take them from her without asking. You carry them up to her floor. You set them outside her door. You say, "Have a nice evening." 3 weeks later, you are standing against the wall of the social club while the older men talk. You hear Callahan say your name. Then you hear the word button. You look at the floor. You don't react. You file it in the same place you file everything. Level 4 the soldier. You are 22 years old. The ceremony is in the back of the social club on 10th Avenue. Tuesday night. 11 men. Callahan is there. 2 men you have never seen before are there. 1 speech. Under 2 minutes. You are handed a glass of Jameson. You hold it. You drink it. You don't speak. Fort Hamilton is processing 1,500 inductees a week. Your neighbour's son shipped to North Africa in February. You are still here. A man on the draft board has owed Callahan a debt since 1938. The debt is never discussed. It has never needed to be. You move gasoline ration books at $12 each, sold to truckers on Route 9 for $40. You move nylon stockings out of a Hoboken warehouse at $3 a dozen, resold at $1.50 a pair. You move meat stamps in bulk to 4 restaurants on 9th Avenue that stopped asking questions in March. The black market margin on rationed goods is running between 200 and 350% depending on the week and the product. You work Pier 45 on Thursday nights. The foreman is named Hannigan. He leaves the latch on Manifest Cage 7 unlatched between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. You go in with 3 men. You pull a case of silk off the far pallet. You pull 2 crates of Lucky Strikes from behind the cage. You pull 60 pounds of Colombian coffee and carry it to the truck. You don't run. Running draws attention. A collector named Fitzpatrick has been working 48th Street west of 10th for 11 weeks. That block is inside your territory. He has been told twice. On a Wednesday night, Callahan says a name and a street and a lot off Route 9 in Linden, New Jersey. He says Thursday. You drive Fitzpatrick to Linden. You tell him Callahan wants to meet. He doesn't question it. The lot is gravel and chain link. After midnight, he steps out. You step out. You fire twice. Both rounds hit the back of the skull. He falls into the gravel. You do not check the pulse. You get back in the car. You drive Route 9 north for 22 miles. You pull over twice. You are not followed. You cross back into Manhattan at 1:15 a.m. At 7 a.m. you are at St. Michael's on 34th Street, 3rd row. 3 Hail Marys. You are the only person in the church under 50. The priest doesn't look at you. You eat breakfast at a diner on 38th Street. Eggs and toast. You eat all of it. Fitzpatrick had a son named Danny. Danny is 8 years old. He plays stickball most afternoons on your block after school. You watch him from the 2nd floor window. He throws with his whole shoulder. He has a strong arm for his age. You watch him until he goes inside. Your weekly take from Callahan increases by $40 the following Friday. Then again the Friday after. The increases are not discussed. The second week your name surfaces in a conversation you were not part of. Someone tells you afterward. The man who used it is the boss. Level 5, the enforcer. You are 27 years old. You manage 14 active juice loans. Combined principal is $8,400. Weekly collection is $200. The interest rate is 15% per week. Every number exists in your head. Nothing is written. Nothing has ever been written. You know the baker on Tremont Street. He owes 300s at 15%. Ninth week of accrual. You know the dry cleaner on Columbus Avenue who owes $180 fourth week, first missed payment last Thursday. You know the hardware store owner on Washington Street. He owes $640 across 6 weeks, $96. You know every number the way you know your own address. Under you are 3 collectors. You take 30% of their gross every Thursday. You check their math. The math is always right, or it has already been corrected before you arrive. A restaurant owner named Brannigan on Harrison Avenue misses 3 consecutive Fridays. Arrears total $420. Weekly interest has been compounding at $63. You go to Brannigan on a Monday. He explains his situation. You let him finish. You leave. Tuesday morning, his supplier's delivery truck is on Summer Street with a broken windshield and 2 flat tires. The delivery doesn't make it. By noon, Brannigan calls. He has $420 and offers $500 to close the account. You take $480. You don't explain the $20 reduction. You hang up. Every Friday you hand an envelope to Callahan. The envelope contains $800. This has happened without interruption for 4 years and 2 months. A man named Doherty borrows $300 in February to cover a gambling debt with another crew. He pays the first 2 weeks. Week 3 his wife calls. She says he is in the hospital. She says it the wrong way. By the time you reach the Tobin Bridge it is 3 a.m. and the fire department is already there. Doherty went over the railing at approximately 2:15 a.m. The bridge sits 145 feet above the Mystic River. On a Wednesday evening, his wife comes to your door. She is holding a composition notebook. Inside the notebook is every payment Doherty made, dates and amounts in his own handwriting. She sets it on your kitchen table. She says she wants to settle the balance. She says she will pay it. You tell her the current balance, including that week's interest. You say the number once. Her face doesn't move. She writes it down. She pays it off in 11 weeks. Every Friday. Cash. She never misses. On a Thursday night, you are in Callahan's kitchen when a man you don't recognize arrives at the back door. Callahan steps into the hallway with him. 4 minutes. When Callahan returns, he looks at you in a way that has a different quality than before. He says there is a meeting next week. He says it will not be in this neighborhood. Level 6, the lieutenant. You are 33 years old. You run 8 men across 12 blocks. 6 nights a week, one of those men is outside every operation in your territory. The territory runs 3 rackets: numbers, loan sharking and policy. Policy is a numbers variant running on a separate daily calendar. You manage all 3 at the same time. 2 NYPD detectives are on your payroll. Detective First Grade Moriarty takes $400 on the first Tuesday of every month. Detective Sergeant Doyle takes $400 on the same day. The envelopes are delivered by a runner who has no other function. Neither detective has ever been in the same room as you. You collect the numbers take from your 3 runners on Tuesday morning. You collect the loan sharking envelopes from 2 collectors on Thursday afternoon. You collect the policy payments from your East Side man on Friday at noon. You hand the combined envelope up the chain on Saturday. You have been inside the Saturday house 4 times. You stay under 10 minutes. In April, a Genovese connected crew out of a social club on 47th Street appears on 9th Avenue. They are working the southern end. A block you have operated for 6 years. The man who represents them is a capo named Tester. He is 44. He has been in the life since 1931. You sit down with Tester at a location in Astoria. The meeting runs 38 minutes. You surrender 2 blocks on the southern end of 9th Avenue. In return, you receive a 10% reduction on the tribute your men pay to work Genovese-controlled loading bays at the West Side docks. You calculate the exchange on the drive back. It favours you by $240 per month. You take the deal. One of your collectors, a man named Riley, is arrested in October. Grand larceny. A warehouse job really ran outside his sanctioned duties on a weekend. The arrest is Friday. Your lawyer is at the precinct by 9 p.m. The fee is $200. You cover it. You find a room for Riley's wife and 2 children in a building on 44th Street and pay the first 2 months. Riley does 6 months at Rikers Island. He's back at work the Monday after his release. The torn $200 is deducted from his take over the following quarter. This is never discussed directly. It is understood. A second man in your crew is skimming. His name is Burke. Over 11 weeks, he has taken $200 from his collection totals and reported short. You verify the discrepancy twice through two separate sources. Both confirm the same number. The amount is not the point. You give the order on a Tuesday evening. Burke is found in the East River on Wednesday morning. Cinder blocks at both ankles. The coroner's report will note that he entered the water while still alive. You eat dinner at home Tuesday night. Pork chops. You clear the plates. The boss has been in the hospital twice since September. The word sick is used each time. You know what 2 hospitalizations in 4 months mean. The other 5 lieutenants know. No one uses the word succession. No one needs to. At every meeting there is a pause before men choose their seats. No one sits at the head of the table. You watch where each man positions himself. You watch how close he sits to the centre. You watch which men make eye contact with each other before they sit. That is most of what you need to know. Level 7, the fixer. You are 40 years old. 3 names. That is the architecture of the next phase. A city council member named Hennessy, who sits on the Public Works Committee. On your Christmas list since 1958 at $2,000 per year. He introduces bills. He kills bills. He assigns city contracts to 3 construction companies you control through nominees. A state court judge named Rafferty in Suffolk County. On your list since 1961 at $3,500 per year. He sets bail at manageable numbers. He reduces charges on motion. He schedules trials on dates when key witnesses are unavailable. A deputy police commissioner named Harrington at One Police Plaza. On your list since 1960 at $5,000 per year. He transfers detectives who get close. He routes evidence requests into the wrong filing systems. He redirects major crimes investigations away from your territory. These 3 men are not criminals. They are infrastructure. In March, a soldier named Gallagher shoots a city parks employee. The argument is over a card game. The bar is in Dorchester. The employee survives. Gallagher is looking at manslaughter. Your lawyer files 4 motions in 14 days. You move $15,000 through 3 accounts. $6,000 reaches Rafferty's man in Cambridge. $5,000 moves through a law firm to the assistant DA's office. $4,000 goes to a forensic consultant who contests the ballistics report. The charge drops to aggravated assault. Gallagher receives 18 months probation. This takes 11 weeks. You eat dinner at home every night of those 11 weeks. A witness in a 1959 shooting case is scheduled to testify in October. Her name is Bridget Halloran. She lives in Charlestown. She saw 2 men. She can identify one of them. In September, she files a motion to withdraw her testimony. She says she misidentified what she saw. She moves to a house in Providence. The moving truck is covered by a man in your crew. In November, an FBI surveillance van parks across from your social club. Grey panel van. Massachusetts plates, different plates each week. You eat inside for 6 months. You hold meetings in a hardware store on Dorchester Avenue your crew has controlled since 1952. You leave the club each day at the same time. You run the same 3 errands. You give the van a consistent schedule. A consistent schedule makes a man predictable. A predictable man is a man they stop watching closely. At the parish hall in March, you attend the NORAID fundraiser at St. Matthew's. Folding tables. Shepherd's pie. A tin box at the door. The night raises $12,000 total. You put $3,000 in the box in cash. You eat the shepherd's pie. The FBI photographs 42 men entering the building. You know this because Harrington tells you the following week. 2 factions inside the crew are forming around 2 different successors. 3 lieutenants pull one direction. 2 pull the other. You sit at the centre. You show no preference. You take calls from both sides. You give both sides identical advice in different words. In April, Bridget Halloran is found on the bank of the Seekonk River near East Providence. She has been in the water for approximately 4 days. You did not give that order. You don't know who did. You do not ask. On a Thursday evening, the boss calls your house. He says, come tomorrow. He says, come alone. He says, come to the back. You have been in that back office 14 times in 11 years. Each time there has been at least one other person in the room. Tomorrow there will not be. Level 8, the underboss. You are 47 years old. Every decision above crew level comes to you first. That is not policy. That is physics. You are the point through which the organisation moves. 5 lieutenants. 40 active men. 63 associates across 2 cities. The annual gross across all rackets is $4.1 million. Your take is 12% of the net after tribute. You have not counted the money in 2 years. A bank in the Cayman Islands counts it. The FBI has placed 2 informants inside your structure. You have confirmed one of them. His name is Hennessy. 3rd tier associate, numbers in Dorchester. You have known since September. You have allowed him to continue operating. You need to know what he is passing before you close the door. The heroin question comes to a vote in November. 3 lieutenants want in. 2 are opposed. You chair the meeting. The vote sits at 2-2. You abstain. The motion fails. You did not abstain because of morality. A narcotics distribution network inside an active federal dragnet carries exposure you cannot manage. The math does not work. You will revisit in 18 months if the climate changes. In January, your name appears in print for the first time. Senate Subcommittee Report on Organised Crime in New England, Volume 3, page 47. 2 sentences. Your name. The phrase alleged organisational oversight. Your lawyer reads both sentences and says this is not yet an indictment. You say you know. You put the report in the drawer. A lieutenant named Crowley has been drinking heavily for 3 years. He talks in bars. He names names at a volume that carries to adjacent tables. In February, you authorise his removal. 2 men handle it on a Saturday night. Crowley surfaces in the Neponset River on Sunday morning. The medical examiner logs blunt trauma. The case is listed as unsolved. The other informant is Shaughnessy. You have known Shaughnessy since 1939. You grew up on the same block on West Broadway. His mother kept a chair at their kitchen table that was always yours when your father was bad. You were a pallbearer at his wedding. You held his first son the day that boy came home from the hospital. You have spent 30 years in rooms with this man. You confirm it on a Thursday through 2 independent sources. Neither source knows about the other. Both give the same name. You sit in your car on Dorchester Avenue for 22 minutes after the second call. Your hands are flat on the steering wheel. You look at the windshield. You give the order on Friday morning. 12 words. The man on the other end says understood. You hang up. You drive to a diner on Columbia Road. You order coffee. You drink it. Shaughnessy's is dealt with Friday evening. In October, the boss is indicted. Federal. RICO conspiracy, extortion, tax evasion, obstruction of justice. His lawyer says to expect 7 years minimum. The lawyer is wrong. The boss will receive 12. He will serve 9. He will not be the same man when he comes out. By then it will no longer matter. No formal transfer of authority occurs. None needs to. You have been running the operation for 22 months. Level 9, the boss. You are 54 years old. 6 crews. 85 men. Operations running from the Southeast Social Club on West Broadway. The rackets cover numbers, loan sharking, policy, labour union kickbacks and dock cargo theft. A cement company and a waste management firm. The legitimate fronts move $1.1 million per year. The cash operation moves 9 times that. In March, you fly to New York. A hotel in Midtown. Suite on the 14th floor. 2 representatives from the Genovese family. 1 from the Gambinos. The subject is tribute on garment district collections. Your crew has been paying 25% since a 1961 agreement. The Genovese street captain who signed it is dead. You argue the agreement died with him. You open at 15%. They counter at 22. You close at 18. The meeting runs 4 hours and 40 minutes. You eat nothing during it. On the flight back, you eat 2 rolls from the cart and sleep for 40 minutes. The RICO conspiracy indictment arrives on a Wednesday morning in September. 23 counts. Extortion, mail fraud, wire fraud, labour racketeering, 2 counts of conspiracy to commit murder. Your lead attorney is Farrell at a firm in Government Centre. His retainer is $200,000 per year. You have paid it for 3 consecutive years without discussion. In October, 4 lieutenants received federal grand jury subpoenas in the same week. Your lawyer says the timing is coordinated. He says it is designed to create pressure between the men. He says you need to know who holds before the government does. You already know. You have known since the Shaughnessy matter what information under pressure does to a man. You have run the calculation on all 4. You have already taken steps with 2 of them. In November, you stop using direct phone lines. Every order passes through 2 intermediaries. You issue nothing in writing. You meet no more than twice per week in locations that rotate on a 7-day cycle. The FBI monitors 3 of those locations. You know which 3. You use a 4th. On December 23rd, 3 envelopes are delivered. Senator Walsh receives $3,000 in cash. Senator Callaway receives $3,000 in cash. Federal District Court Judge Malone receives $3,000 in cash. 3 different couriers. None of them has ever been in the same room as the others. By December 24th, all 3 envelopes are received without incident. This is the 14th consecutive year these deliveries have been made. In February, a man named Delaney needs to be handled. You have known Delaney since the 4th grade. St. Brendan's Elementary on Dorchester Street. He sat 2 rows in front of you for 4 years. He was at your wedding in 1952. His daughters call you uncle. He has been talking to people he should not be talking to. 2 independent sources confirm it. The sources are not in contact with each other. You give the order on a Tuesday morning. The word is yes. It takes under 2 seconds to say. You have known Delaney for 45 years. It takes under 2 seconds. Delaney is handled on a Thursday. In March, 2 lieutenants flip. Federal witnesses. The grand jury reconvenes. Your lawyer calls that evening. He reads from a list for 11 minutes. You say very little. When he finishes, you ask one question. He gives you the answer. You hang up. The FBI holds your phone records from January 1970 through February 1973. 38 months of documented calls. Your lawyer says the RICO exposure on those records alone is significant. He does not use a number. He does not need to. You sit in the office after he hangs up. The room is empty. The desk has been in this room since 1948. A previous boss sat at it. Before him another. The wood is dark from years of hands on the surface. You put your hands flat on it. You hold them there. Level 10, the ghost. You are 65 years old. You run what remains from a house in Quincy, Massachusetts, 3 miles from the neighborhood where it started. The house is registered in a name that is not yours. You have lived in it for 14 months. 47 years in the life. In those 47 years, you have buried 11 men you called friends. You have given orders that put 9 others in the ground. You have watched 6 men receive federal sentences they are still serving. You have outlived 23 men whose faces you can still place. You stop counting at 23. You stop because the count no longer changes anything. 3 of your 6 lieutenants are in federal custody. Fitzgerald received 16 years in October. Connolly received 11 in January. Sullivan is awaiting sentencing. His lawyer says 8 to 12. The lawyer is usually accurate. The Italians moved into your numbers territory in April. No phone call. No sit down. No confrontation. A runner on Dorchester Avenue told you 2 Genovese associates showed up on a Tuesday morning. They told him the corner had changed management. He said the men were polite. He handed over the tin box and walked away. You told him he did the right thing. The corner moves $1,500 per week. You no longer have the men to take it back. That is the mathematics of the current situation. You drink coffee in the kitchen at 6 a.m. You read the Herald. You do not use the telephone before 9 a.m. You never use the same payphone twice in the same week. The FBI drives past the house at 7:15 a.m. and again at 3:40 p.m. You know the shift changes at 4 p.m. On rainy days, the 3:40 pass comes 4 minutes early. Your son Patrick teaches history at Framingham South High School. He has a wife and 2 daughters. You met the girls once in 1971 in a school parking lot you were not supposed to be in. Patrick saw you across the lot. He looked at you for 3 seconds. He turned back to his daughters. You drove away. He has not called since. You do not expect him to call. When you think about the 2 girls, your stomach drops. You file that away. You don't return to it. On a Thursday morning, you walk West Broadway in South Boston, a section of the neighborhood you have not been near in 4 years. The street has changed. A laundromat where the hardware store stood. A barber shop where the gambling den ran from 1938 to 1954. The corner where Patsy Doyle's man handed you your first slip route is now a parking lot. Chain link fencing. The year was 1927. You walk it. You don't hurry. The wind is coming off the water. At the corner of West Broadway and 8th Street, you stop. A boy is standing against the fence. He is 12 years old. Red Sox cap bill bent down. His right hand is closed in a loose fist at his side. You can see the edge of a folded paper in the curl of his fingers. He has a route. He has the addresses memorized. He is waiting for the signal. He looks up. You hold the look for 1 second. You keep walking. The cycle continues.